Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, just like with the new Dex Zoro that has come out on Global, we're doing the same thing with the new Super Type Quick Kaido, and this guy's ink effect looks pretty damn hype, and this unit is actually a lot of fun. By far the best Quick Captain, or yeah, I would say he's the best Quick Captain on Global at the moment, but that reign isn't going to last very long, as this particular unit is the start of the quick resurgence and the quick meta that will be coming in the next coming months on Optc Global. But in today's video, we are taking on the 10-star Garp challenges, utilizing this guy as captain. We are using a mono quick team. This guy's very good, but he does have his downfalls. We will talk about that throughout the run though, so let's hop in. So moving on to the first Garp challenge, we're taking on WhiteBeard or the WhiteBeard Pirates. So this is what the team looks like here. There are some notable supports, the main one being page 1 on the Kaido himself. We have like Smoker for a bit extra damage, some color affinity with Ace, and then Markino to get around the chain lock. But all those supports besides maybe page 1 aren't really essential, and you can easily get around them otherwise. This content is fairly old, and I sort of just tried to put together a more optimal team to sort of showcase what Kaido can do. And this particular Garp challenge against WhiteBeard is his main shining places. There are no barriers, there's only defense up and damage reduction on one of the stages, and we can easily stall out the normal attacks only that comes on the Marco and the Vista stage. But with Kaido, being able to do like 2 million damage, provided there is no normal attacks only, or there is no immunity, means that you can actually get a lot of damage output by just popping off specials. And when you get that 2 times extra damage, you can actually just absolutely smack units around, which is a lot of fun. And utilizing this guy as a quick leader, he just makes these Garbs challenges a lot easier, as Quick was stereotypically one of the hardest of the Garbs challenges to actually take down, as they are lacking some very good units to just help them along. On stage 2, we actually come up against the Watermelon Head guy, and this is where the special of Kaido, or the captain ability of Kaido, really shines through. When you take 10,000 damage or more, Kaido as a captain will actually trigger his special effect. With that special effect trigger, he'll actually give you a full border orbs, double damage to the enemy. Unfortunately, that does not go through immunities, however, but there is no immunity to it besides full immunity. And he will actually do 1 million damage. Because he doubles the damage to the enemy though, he actually turns that into 2 million, or just under 2 million. And once we actually hit this stage against the Watermelon Head guy, we can actually just wipe the stage with his, like, without even using his special. And then with the support of page 1, we can actually remove 2 turns of the attack down, move on to the next stage, and everything's hunky-dory. On stage 3, we come up against, Higuma, Atmos, and the Chain Ball guy. They're going to special bind all of our units for 3 turns. With Bobbin's Sailor ability, that actually goes down to 2, which is very handy. But with Kaido having a lot of damage output, we can actually just use the switch ability of Shanks' crew, take out Higuma in the front and Atmos in the back, and then do a bunch of damage to the other unit. Unfortunately, he just hits as shy of 10k. If you have less damage reduction sockets, that'll probably do around 10,000, which means you can easily just take him out with the Thunderbug. I think it's Thunderboga. I can't even say it, eh? But on the next stage, we come up against Fossa, Isu, and Speed Giru. So against these units, we're basically just going to switch with our Shanks crew. That's going to give us an attack buff, which is really nice. And then ideally, we want to try and just take out Speed Giru on the first turn. Fossa can be on a 4-turn cooldown. He can also be on a 2-turn cooldown. It's just sort of luck of the draw. We're going to use our friend Kaido special on Isu in the front there, mainly so we can actually get the double damage. And as you can see, just with the switchability of Shanks' crew and the double damage, we can do a lot. Now, I actually took a shot from Speed Giru here just so we could actually show off like how much damage that Kaido can actually do with the special. And he just claps units, like absolutely claps units. I also really wanted to get his super typing as well. That was something that I was aiming for. So you have to get below 50% HP, and then you actually get Kaido's super typing, which is very easy to do, as ideally with this unit you will be taking damage, which therefore means that you can easily get it below 50%. On the stage against Jozu, we are going to use the special of Bobbins to give us remove the defensive effects. We've got the special of Bellamy for an orb buff, and with the Smoker support we can get an attack buff. Now don't stress if you don't have Smoker support, because you can just switch with Shanks' crew. I think that's actually what I did. I think I switched first and then Smoker came in. So we only had the 1.5 times attack, which is fine because there's enough damage there to easily take out Jozu. On the next stage against Marco in Vista, this is where things get a bit shaky, and we do have the Marco no support to actually remove the chain lock, but you can easily use the chain lock against Jozu that Shanks can provide, and that way you can actually get around the chain lock on this particular stage. With the Kaku special, we can give ourselves a full border quick orbs, we can remove the paralysis, and we can remove the attack down, and then we can focus on taking out Marco. Now, on this stage, we actually get, once we kill Jozu, you actually get 3 turns of normal attacks only, which means that when you do take the damage from Kaido here, we're basically only getting the double damage buff, as well as a full board orbs. Now, the full board orbs is nice, but it doesn't go through block orbs. The end of turn like that big Thunder Booger hit actually only does 2 million, but won't go through normal attacks, and if they have full immunity, you actually can't get the double damage. So that's where Kaido sort of fails a little bit, and we will see like how, and we'll test basically how he performs as we make our way through these Garp challenges. On the final stage against Ace and WhiteBeard, we have both our super typings, which means we've got about 4 million damage as they aren't immune to, well, they don't have full immunity. So we can actually just pop our Kaido special. Kaido is going to give us the double damage buff, or debuff, I should say. We can then utilize our Kaido super typing. That's going to do around 4 million damage, which just wipes out Ace. And then with the other super typing, we can just basically wipe out WhiteBeard, single tap, Bob's your uncle, see you later. Bellamy's also got a HP cut in him as well. Shanks Crew's got a HP cut too, and literally just with one shot from Kaido, we can say goodbye to WhiteBeard. Let's move on to Enel now. So moving on to Enel now, and the team has changed just a little bit. We have added Sobermask to this particular team, so that way we can actually utilize the pudding support. We also have Coruscant on this team as well with his Limit Break key. That way we can actually remove the special blind on the final stage, which is really, really nice as he can get around Fear. If you don't have Coruscant Limit Break key, you could use someone like VV Rebecca V2 is a really good option to remove the special bind with their switch, and then use their special to actually remove the special bind as well as give you an orb boost as well. I went with Carousel mainly because like I haven't used him too much. His Limit Break key is very, very good, and he is a very, very good rare recruit. We are still rocking Shanks Crew on this particular team, and we also have Bellamy. I really, really love that Raid Bellamy, actually. Raid Bellamy is really good. He has double special activation, and because you can use the Smoker support as he does a HP cut, you can get 2 lots of an orb boost. He gives a couple of matching orbs, and he gives an attack boost with the Smoker support, which is really, really nice. I actually love using that unit. On stage 2, we are going to get Special Bind with 3 of our random crewmates, as well as get 4 turns of bind, which should go down to 1 turn depending on your sockets. We are going to use the Sobermask special here, mainly because Sobermask has that Sailor ability where he can actually just like get his specials back the more specials you use. You get 4 turns of cooldown every time you use someone else's special, and that way we can easily take out one of these Skypiea enemies. Because we can't take out the other 2 though, they are going to attack us, and because they do more than 10k damage, you know what that means. Our big dog Kaido, he's just going to blast away the other 2 units, and that way we can actually move on to the next stage against Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Against Tweedledee and Tweedledum, they're going to give us 2 turns of burn. They have a 2-turn barrier for 3 greats, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world as we can utilize the Shanks Crew switch ability, and because of the Shanks Crew switch ability, we get a 1.5 times attack boost. With that, we can actually just output a little bit of extra damage than what we would normally do against Tweedledee and Tweedledum here. So just make sure that you are hitting your greats to break the barrier, and then you can actually just hit some perfects as well. Now, with the burn damage, that will actually accumulate with the end of turn damage from Kaido, but this is where Kaido struggles a little bit. Because these guys actually have a barrier, the end of turn damage goes at the start of the next turn. So it's not really end of turn damage, it's like the start of turn damage. So that big 2 million hit that we would normally get won't actually go through the barriers if you break it, which is a little bit annoying. We still do get the full border orbs though, which is really, really nice. We also still get rid of the extra damage taken on the enemy, which is double damage, which is really, really nice. And with that extra double damage debuff, we can take these guys out on this following turn. I don't know why I actually used the Kaido special there. There is absolutely no need to use the Kaido special there. That was a complete waste. And now that I'm watching this back, I'm just thinking like, wait, what was I doing? I did this at work today, like on my lunch break and stuff. And I was just thinking like, what the hell are you thinking there, Stump? I did actually want to hit some perfects though, because we do want to drop below 50% HP. We do get a HP cut here as well though against Wiper. But the big thing I wanted to do there was actually drop below 50% HP. Ideally, when you come into this stage against Wiper, you just want to be able to take 10k damage from that HP cut that he does, and that way we can actually take out 2 of the enemies, get the super typing, and then just destroy Wiper as we don't have those other 2 enemies to worry about. Wiper has an attack up too, so Wiper is going to do quite a bit of damage. So you do want to take him out before he does attack. We are using the Mama Shanta ship though, so we can actually give ourselves a guaranteed recovery orb. I really enjoy using the Mama Shanta ship with Kaido, mainly because you want to drop below 50%, you want to take damage, and then you can actually just utilize that ship special every 6 turns, which can give you just a little bit of healing. It's not an essential healing, but sometimes it can just be just enough to sort of tank an extra shot and survive that little bit longer. On to the next stage, we come up against 2 more Skype units. I do not remember these guys' names. The dude on the ball has the 4 turns of Threshold on himself, and they roll your specials back by 2 turns. And they also, like, bind your ship for 2 turns as well, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. On this particular stage, we're going to use Shanks' switch ability, and then we're just going to focus all of our attacks on the dude on the ball as he locks onto him. Because we have the super typing of Kaido available, we can actually utilize the super typing to do a bunch of damage and actually remove 2 turns of the threshold. With Kaido's super typing, he removes 2 turns of threshold and 2 turns of damage reduction. Now, in my opinion, it's not the worst super typing in the world, but it's not the greatest super typing either, as you do need to drop below 50% before you can activate it. So unless you have some cheeky shenanigans at the start of the fight, or the threshold comes later on, as you'll see in the Akainu stage, you do have to be mindful about when you activate that or when you get that. He also does around 4 million damage if you have the double damage debuff active. Otherwise, it'll be around 2. So you can do quite a lot of damage with Kaido's super typing. But other than that, like, he does have that nice little bit of utility, but he's mainly just used for damage. On the second last stage, we come up against Gidatsu and Om. They're going to bind our bottom row for 1 turn respective to your sockets. They do end of turn damage, and they bind our recovery. Binding the recovery on this particular team is not an issue though, because we can actually remove it with our limit break, which is great. But for some other teams, you may struggle a little bit there. We do cop that end of turn damage, or the start of turn damage, and because of that, we actually get Kaido's special to pop off. And with that, we can actually just take out Om on the very first turn, which is why, like, this is where Kaido really shines. When stuff like this happens, where they give you a HP cut, or they just do like a bunch of damage as you enter the stage, this is where Kaido really shows like how strong he can be, because like that stage normally will take 2 turns, and we just easily clap that with just 4 units, which is just absurd, like actually absurd. On the final stage against Eneru, he's going to stun our captains, give us fear on our sailors, and 3 turns of special bind on our entire crew. He's going to wipe out our cumulative buffs, and he also has that barrier that gives him extra HP. With Carousel being limit break keyed, we can actually remove the fear on him, as well as remove the special bind with his special. With the support of Pudding on our Sober Mask, we can remove the stun as we do damage. And then with that, we basically just have like an orb booster in Bellamy. We also have the attack buff from Sober Mask if you want to use that, but we do have the Smoker support still on Bellamy, so that way we get the 1.75 anyway. You also have the switchability of Shanks' crew that you can use after you use Sober Mask. That way you can give yourself some matching orbs. We have a chain lock with Shanks' crew, which is really, really strong. And then we also can just utilize Kaido's special, so that way we can actually just do a bunch of damage and start withering away at the barrier that Enel has. Make sure that you are using any of the super typings you have as well. It's just extra free damage basically, but unfortunately, because Enel has that barrier, it really doesn't do too much to his HP pool. Once we've done that, we can just sort of clap Enel, destroy him with a couple of greats, finish it off with Kaido, and that'll do for that Garp's challenge. Let's move on to the Navy, the final challenge now. So moving on to the final Garp's challenge now, we're coming up against Navy. Now, again, we have done a few changes. I have kept the core the same with Shanks' crew and Bellamy. But we have Okiku on this particular team, as well as utilizing Onami with the Hachan support. Very similar to the Dex Kaido video, actually. We actually used the same strat to get around Hunger, which was really nice. I thought I would take a break from using stuff like Sanji and Pudding, and V2 Vivi and Rebecca, as we have been using them a lot with the last month's content. So I figured let's try some different strats, let's try some different units, and let's try out the new units at the exact same time. With Onami as well, Onami's really, really good for Kaido because she actually can provide a heal. So that way, once you get the super typing, you can actually pop the Nami special, head back to like full HP, as she does about like a 50% HP cut. She's also great because she can remove defense up or set defense to 0, provided that there is no full immunity. And then with the Kaido super typing, you actually have access to removing threshold and damage reduction. So the two of them together, you can actually get a little bit nicer defensive effect removal. But again, they both do get cucked by that full immunity, unfortunately. With Okiku, though, Okiku's great because she can give us color affinity, she has double special activation, and she can remove Bind and Despair, which is the main reason that she's here. You can use the Conjurer support on her actually now that I'm really thinking about it, so that way you don't have to use her double special activation to remove the Bind and Despair. But look, it is what it is. On turn 2, we actually take a shot from the Marines. That way we can actually just pop off Kaido's super typing. Kaido's special. The big reason that we actually wanted to do that is so then that way we can get the full border orbs moving into this particular stage. And then ideally we can actually get the super typing ready to go by this particular turn against Kobe and Helmeppo. Unfortunately, I was sort of just shy, I think. I think I was just shy of the damage. Or I might have... There we go, I just got it. So with the Hunger, taking the damage from the Hunger on the very first turn will actually allow us to get the super typing. And then with the super typing, we can remove the final turn of Threshold. We can do so much damage to Kobe, we can actually take him out. And then with the special of Onami, we can actually give ourselves full HP once again, which is really, really nice. With Shanks Crew down the bottom, when we switch with him last, we can give ourselves some more matching orbs. And with the Mama Shanta, we can actually give ourselves a recovery orb as well, which is really, really nice, as that way we can use the recovery orbs to get rid of the Hunger. We can take out Kobe Helmeppo and have a lot of fun along the way. On to the next stage against Smoker, Tashigi, and Hina. Oh my god, I blanked for a second then. They're going to bind our bottom row for 3 turns respective to your sockets and give us 2 turns of Gloom, again, respective to your sockets. They're also going to give us a full board of unfavorable orbs or T&D orbs, which they also make unfavorable for the rest of the run, and they're immune to delay. So with Okiku, we can actually remove the Despair and 2 turns of the bind. As mentioned, you can use the Conjurer support on Okiku there, and that way you can actually remove the rest of the bind and probably do a bit more damage. With damage reduction sockets, as you can see, Smoker just doesn't have enough oomph to actually do 10k because Smoker is trash. Don't even at me. Looking at you, Ty. You know. On the second turn, we can easily take out Smoker. Move on to the next stage against Kizaru. Now, against Kizaru, this is where things get a little bit tricky, but lucky for us, we do actually already have the super typing live, which means that we are going to do a little bit more damage to Dex units. Very, very important that we start doing more damage to Dex units, as this stage against Kizaru actually sucks. Against Kizaru, he has a perfect barrier, he makes perfects harder to hit, and you have to hit 2 of them to break the barrier. So with the Bellamy special, we can get an orb buff as well as an attack buff with Smoker, and then we can do as much damage as we possibly can here. Even hitting all your perfects, you are just not going to have the damage to take out Kizaru, as not only does he have a barrier, but he also has full immunity. With full immunity, that means that Kaido's special literally only gives us full border orbs, and again, this is where Kaido really struggles. Trying to get through barriers, like barriers just absolutely cuck him, as well as normal attacks only or full immunity. I really wish like his damage went through defensive effects. Like I really don't know why that's not a big deal. Like I understand not going through normal attacks only, but going through barriers, going through thresholds, all that sort of stuff. I just don't understand why they didn't do that, because it just absolutely cucks this unit. On the second turn, we can take out Kizaru, but just be mindful you get the remove sound effects buff, so you do need to be good with your perfects. But I guess you can sort of stall a little bit on that particular stage, provided you don't cop the paralysis. Against Isu or Fujitora, we are going to get the 4 tap debuff. And then we can use our Kaido special to give us the double damage. We have Shanks Crew for a chain lock, Bellamy for a orb boost, and we can just easily destroy Fujitora on this particular stage. We are going to use this Chicky Babe here to stall, and then we can move on to the final stage. So now that the Chicky Babe hits 89 turn cooldown, she is going to run away, and that way we can move on to the final stage against Akainu. Against Akainu, he is going to turn into a strength unit, because he becomes the opposite captain to what we are. So because we're running Kaido, he becomes strength, which is great, because now we have color affinity. And he's going to become a super type, as well as remove cumulative buffs, and give us 5 turns of burn, which is like 8k, which is pretty significant to be honest, so just be careful. He also only lets us use 2 specials, so we are going to use one of the Kaido specials, that way we can just do a bunch of damage, and then we can actually just use Okiku special. With the switchability of Shanks Crew, we can give ourselves a 1.5 times attack boost as well, which is fairly important, and then with that, we're just going to try and hit some perfects here. Try not to hit as many perfects as you do for your HP, but we can easily take out Akainu, no issues whatsoever. On the res, Akainu is going to put up 2 turns of threshold, and we can actually just remove that with the super typing of Kaido. So that's going to wrap up the Kaido mini showcase, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you are new to my channel and you're enjoying the OPTC content, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, guys, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Lights!